I am a believer that exposure to information is essential because it can ignite that remembrance. But what happens when the exposure to the information isn't enough? Why might we stay stuck? I have explored 3 reasons that I see most often that create that disconnect from knowing better and doing better. So the first one is that you're sick for a reason, you're struggling for a reason, and that it's actually working for you. So your needs are actually being met by your relationship to a life lived with the symptoms that you're struggling with. So in internal family systems, in parts work, there is this idea that I find very helpful because even before I knew about parts work, I saw this over and over again, that there is a part of a person who is struggling with their health that very, very deeply believes that those symptoms are necessary, right? So if there is a part that says it must be this way, how can you get to know what that part has to say? How can you get to know the beliefs held by that part? And how can you begin to understand what it is that you're getting out of your struggle, right? So sometimes the needs that are being met are for an experience of feeling taken care of, feeling attended to, feeling contained, right? When you don't know how to ask directly for these needs to be met, and you don't have dynamics in your life that offer the meeting of these needs for caretaking, then you might subconsciously create conditions for that to be, conferred to your experience, right? What if you have a lot of trouble saying no and setting boundaries because you have coupled your no with danger, retribution, and punishment? Well, if you have recurrent migraines, that's a very easy way for you to say, no, I can't, I'm sick, right? Instead of that doesn't work for me or I'm not available. Right? So the ways that our illness, whether it's, panic attacks or whether it's joint pain, whatever it might be that is ongoing, that we have a relationship to, the ways that those symptoms are actually meeting needs and keeping us safe according to some part of us that has learned that we are safer in this smaller life experience, in this like hobbled life experience. Until you can better understand why that is, you don't know yourself. And you haven't gotten the memo, right, from you to you about you that your symptoms are attempting to bring to your awareness. The victim consciousness realm of so much of conventional medicine that is predicated on triangulation, right? So on that Cartman triangle of the villain, the victim, and the rescuer. It is a very alluring space to fall into because of the ways that we're conditioned. It is a safe way to secure some sense of empowerment. And so much of medicine rides on this, whether it's, germ theory or the cancer mutation theory or the cholesterol theory of heart disease. All of these theories are putting you in the dependent position of a helpless victim. And why might we want to be a victim? Of course, somebody wants to be a victim, except we do, except it actually feels really good and familiar and fulfilling. And a lot of the benefits of victimhood, while they pale in comparison to the experience of joy and, liberation and expansion of sovereignty, they are fulfilling these needs. So when you're in that triangulation, you are recruiting the rescuer, that is the system, against the villain, that is your body, that is your symptoms. So it's a way to maintain this split. My body and my symptoms are not me. They are a bad thing happening to me. It's a way to remain incoherent. It's a way to remain in this state of fragmentation so that the wholeness, the full reclamation is not yet available because it's not safe for you to go there yet in your life, right? I know that I was a perfect match for the system when I was in my training, when I was prescribing, because I also projected my fears and my deep belief that I am bad and broken out onto the space of health, right? So there are bad things that just happen. You just get a tumor, you get an infection, poor me. And I got to be the good, vulnerable, like valiant, good girl, while all the bad things out there that could and would happen to me would be, managed. I would be caretaken. I would be rescued by the system that knows better, by the parentified mommy medicine, right? That could come in and make everything better. So I'm in this childlike space of seeking for that benevolent parent through the system to save me from the badness that I am. I mean, it's like wild how we play out these energies and these psychodramas through very serious systems like medicine and government and education. And so when you are no longer a match for that, it's because there's a rattling in your cage that says, time to grow up now. Right. And I often use the analogy that it's almost like you're, a 40-year-old woman who's been abused your whole life and you're still living with your parents, but you're in the basement and you've been there your whole life like a feral animal. And, one day you notice that, the light coming in through the window, and you think about the fact that you could actually just you're tall enough now, you could kind of crawl out and leave. But you might stop because you might say, oh, well, but I don't know how to work and I don't know how to take care of myself. And I better just stay here. Like the devil I know, right, is better. And there's going to come a day where it's worth it. It's worth it to just crawl on out the window and see what the hell happens, see what's waiting for you on the other side, because your sovereign impulse, right, that archetypal individuation journey has ignited and is ready to begin. And often it's played out through this emancipation from a system that requires that you remain in childlike thinking and feeling at war with your own self and your own, so-called bad parts, your own wrongness, your own brokenness in collusion, with this higher power.